I was talking to my son the other day. We had went to dinner, and so my daughter, she was out of town for the day. And so my son, my husband and I, we thought, okay, we'll take my son out to dinner and kind of celebrate him. My daughter is somewhat overpowering. She gets, a lot of attention, and so we just thought this would be a great time to spend quality time with my son. And so we invited my other son to dinner with us. We didn't, we had good intentions. And so what happened was my other son, he says social anxiety. So that means that he doesn't, for him, the way he's defining it, I haven't done the research. The way he defines it is that he doesn't like to go into crowded places. He doesn't like to go into big stores. And so he doesn't. And that is not my experience. That's not how my experience is. And so he had asked us to wait on him before we went into the place to eat. And so when I went in, my husband dropped me off at the door. So I went in to see how long the wait was. It just so happened that there was not a wait. And so the lady's like, I'll go ahead and seat you. So I text my husband and I said, okay, there's no wait. They're going to seat us now. So my husband, they come to the door. My husband, my younger son, come to the door. My other son says, don't go in without me. Excuse me. And there's a lot of problems in this story, but I digress. So my husband and son came in, and then my husband went back out to get my other son. And my other son, he got, the one that says he had social anxiety, says that he got upset, really upset. And it made me do the only thing that you can say a lot of things about me, but the one thing that I have major trouble with is my mouth. My mouth. So I, in my opinion, in hindsight, use my words to cut him instead of saying it in a more calmer way. I could have said something different, but there was something that needed to be said. But I digress on that. But I should have. But anyway, so we dinner. We started to order dinner, and so my son, he got up and left. He got mad because I came in and sat without him, and I was really upset because I did not want anything to ruin the younger son. I didn't want anything to interfere or to ruin his dinner. I wanted this time to be about him. I wanted him to be able to talk and laugh and say whatever he needed to say. And so, so later, after, cooler heads prevail, after God got a chance to, allow God to speak to me. And what I should have did was pray before I talked. All the time, I should never say anything without talking. And so when you know something about yourself, you have to really work hard to try to improve it so that other people don't feel the wrath of it, right? Or suffer the consequences. But anyway, later that evening, I felt like God spoke to me about, I have my own social anxiety. It's not the same as his, but I have trouble networking. I have trouble going to networking events. I have trouble talking to strangers. If they talk to me, cool, then I can help with the conversation. But if I just have to go in and talk to somebody cold, I have trouble with that. And I also have trouble with I have trouble going to be around my family. So my great grandmother had 13 children. My grandmother had 6 children. And so sometimes I can get nervous about, what to say, how to say it, if I should jump in or I shouldn't say anything. And so I have trouble with my family members, not strangers, family. And then 2, I noticed that when I'm around people in other environments that I know, but I don't know well, I have trouble with what do I say, am I going to say the wrong thing? Are they not going to like me if I say something? It's going to come across wrong. Sometimes I have trouble with, is what I said, what I was thinking in my mind, is that what came out? Or did I say something totally different? So I think that, for me, it made me think about judgment right away, is that we have to be careful about judging people, and that the things that we hate in others or the things that we hate in ourselves, whether we realize it or not, and maybe it's a different form, but it is so important that we listen more than we talk, that we pay attention to what's going on around us, and we love on people in their faults, just like we want people to love on us in our faults. And so we can get high and mighty and think, okay, well, this is this, you shouldn't do this, why are you like this, and not realizing that we have our own insecurities, we have our own things that need to be dealt with. And so it was just an opportunity for me to have compassion for him, compassion for myself, realizing this thing about myself and what I need to change, how I can improve. And so sometimes I think we don't think about it. We're nasty or brash or rude or disrespectful to people and don't realize the cause of it. And and what I'm saying is sometimes the cause is that thing that you hate in that person is the thing that you hate about yourself. And we got to just pause and take a minute and say, okay, wait a minute. First of all, did I pray about what I'm going to say? Am I listening? Sometimes if we jump off and say something off the cuff and not thinking about it, not bringing every thought into captivity, we say the wrong things, we say hurtful things. And I didn't realize how dangerous my mouth was until I really started to try to be more self-aware. And I started to quiet down and listen to what God was saying to me. And I realized that I cut with my words. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person, And so you have to really pray. And you got to stop and think about what you're saying, and you got to listen and pay attention to what's going on with people, and be compassionate. Sometimes there is something that needs to be addressed, right? And then sometimes it's just not for us. It's not for us to say. It's not our place. It's just not the time. It's just all these different things you got to consider. But I believe in taking it all to God in prayer so that it comes out right, that we can help that person, we can help ourselves, instead of trying to take over it ourselves, trying to fix it, trying to make it right, trying to fix the other person, trying to change the other person. And it ends up disastrous. And then we're wondering why. It's because we haven't done what we need to do. And that is being compassionate to people, listening, praying about what we're going to say, and I always, my go-to is not perfect, right? Because this day I did not do this. And that is, Father God, please speak to me and speak through me. I always want to say the right thing. And of course, if you're busy, if you're stressed or whatever, sometimes you forget, but it is something to just keep coming back to, so that you can help somebody else make their lives better and make your life better. If you like this video, like and subscribe. 2 things I want to leave you with is, if you become what you think about all day long. That is a quote by Earl Nightingale. Something to be thinking about: if your life is not the way you want it to be, if it's not changing, if things are worse than they were. The second one is, if you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And this is a quote by Henry Ford. Something to be thinking about is, do you believe in yourself? Do you have strong beliefs in yourself? Or do you believe what other people say about you? Do you believe that you're going to fail? Do you believe the worst about situations? If that's what you believe, you got to change what you're thinking. You got to change your belief, and you got to start believing that you're going to win. You got to start believing that you're going to be successful. You got to start believing that it's going to work out every single time. And of course, some things are going to fail. And in that case, we just learn from it, and then we grow, we get better, and then we go and do it again, do something different. But if it works, then, it works. But we got to believe in ourselves. That's the first thing we got to do, is we got to believe in ourselves. We got to change the way we think. We got to believe in ourselves.